Welcome back to Outside Views, and bro, we need to talk. Because today I want to talk about a country that, in my opinion, is in the grip of a perfect economic storm. It's a country that is being hammered by inflation, choked by new trade barriers, and offered billion-dollar guest gifts that, in my view, are nothing more than a political distraction. And I'm talking, of course, about the United Kingdom. Or let's in this case rather say Great Britain, because Northern Ireland is in a bit better position. On the surface, you might hear a simple narrative about a global economic slowdown. You might hear about high inflation everywhere and about the challenges of post-COVID supply chains. But I want to offer you an outside view, a perspective that points to a single powerful cause behind all of these problems. And in my view, the UK's current economic woes are not just a symptom of global events. They are direct and undeniable consequence of a decision the country made almost 10 years ago. And the UK is now paying the price for Brexit. And let's start with the numbers, because they don't lie. Reports tell us that the UK has the highest inflation among all industrialized nations at the moment. Consumer prices rose by 3.8% in August. For comparison, the rate in the US was 2.9%, and in the Eurozone it was just 2%. So that's the point where the EU wants it to be, and the European Central Bank wants it exactly on 2.0%. So this is not just a global problem, it is a uniquely British one. And the Bank of England is in a massive dilemma. Its inflation target as well is 2%, and it's forecasting a peak of 4%. That is double the target. And what is the cause of this? The central bank notes that even though the labor market has weakened, wage growth is still too high, which puts upward pressure on prices. But the reports I've read don't connect the dots, and I want to do that. The British people were promised that leaving the EU would bring back control of their borders and their economy, but instead it has created a new complex immigration system that led to labor shortages in key sectors. And those shortages are, in my view, a direct cause of the wage growth and the inflation that is now crushing the British public. The promises of Brexit are not just failing, they are directly contributing to the problem. But inflation is only part of the story. The economic paralysis of the UK has a very clear cause here, and that's trade barriers. The reports show that the negative effects of the trade deal with the EU have only gotten worse over time. And a report from Aston University said that 2023 saw an even stronger trade decline than we already had the years before. And the numbers are staggering. Between 2021 and 2023, the value of British goods exports to the EU fell by 27%, and the value of imports from the EU fell by 32%. And this is a catastrophic collapse of trade, a self-inflicted wound that is hurting British businesses and consumers every single day. And small British exporters have simply given up on trading with the EU because of the new bureaucracy. I said in the beginning of the week, it's about 16,500 companies. And the costs of this are being passed directly on to the British consumers. The reports give the example of a Dutch Christmas tree vendor who now has to add a line item on his invoices called Brexit costs. And this, to me, is the perfect symbol of the entire disaster. Those Brexit costs are not just a line on a receipt. They are a tax on the British public, a tax for a decision that they were told would make them better off. And the final piece of this puzzle is the political narrative, and it is, in my opinion, the most cynical of all. When US President Trump visited the UK, he was celebrated for bringing billions in investment from US companies as a kind of a guest gift. And this, in my view, is a classic example of political theater designed to distract from the reality. While the government is celebrating a single large investment, the real economy is hemorrhaging money every single day. The billions in new investment will not come close to making up for the tens of billions in lost trade and investment that Brexit has already cost the country. And it's a political spectacle meant to create the illusion of a global Britain, while the reality is far more grim. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a country caught in a vicious circle. The trade barriers and new bureaucracy, only new to the UK because they were not new to many other third countries, are leading to higher prices, which are fueling inflation. And the new immigration rules are creating labor shortages, which are also fueling inflation. And that during immigration records. And the government is so committed to the project of Brexit and not to reverse it, that it refuses to admit the root cause of the problem. And even if you would want to reverse it, as the wrongly named Rejoin UK wants, it would take a long, long time. So whenever they get to the point that they want to reverse it, which cannot be reversed anyway, but to do the best they can do to take away a lot of the harm. You cannot take away the harm that's already done, but they can only take care that it won't be as harmful in the future. But that would take a long time. Accession to the EU takes ages, even for a country as big as the UK, with the political system in place now, even with the Labour government. I talked about the damages to democracy yesterday. That would take time. And without a fundamental change in direction, without a willingness to acknowledge the colossal mistake that was made, none of these problems can be truly solved. And the UK will continue to be caught between tariffs, inflation, and the consequence of a decision that was sold with lies and is now being paid for with hardship. So thanks for joining me today on Outside Views, and I really would like to hear your opinion about this. And as I said recently, I read a lot that is posted by Rejoin UK. If you are a member of Rejoin UK or a supporter of them, let me know what your plans are really to do and what you think would happen in the end and how fast that would happen. Because I unfortunately read some things I do not agree with. So I really would like to hear your perspective on that one. So please write in the comments below the video as well. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.